today. Justina and James will light your way.
Welcome to the Justina James podcast, where health, wellness and technology come together to create possibility. Here we explore fresh ideas for people, pets and communities, practical tools and inspiring stories that help you live stronger, smarter and with greater purpose. Justina and James, together with occasional guests, will uncover how innovation and intention can transform everyday life. Take it away, my friends.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We've all been told, drink more water. It's basic advice.
Right. Hydration 101.
But today we're asking something a bit more out there. What if the structure of that water could actually change how it affects your health?
Exactly. What if it could do more than just hydrate? Could it, energize you, restore things?
Align your body with its natural rhythms. That's the big claim.
It is, and that's the core tension we're diving into today. Our mission is a proper deep dive into the source material you shared on potentialized water. You also hear it called structured water.
Okay.
It's this interesting mix of ancient ideas and some pretty fringe modern science.
So we need to cut through the hype, right? Understand the theories, but also the skepticism.
Absolutely. Figure out what this, let's be honest, controversial form of water is actually all about.
Okay, so first things first, let's try and nail down a working definition. How is this potentialized water supposedly different from, the stuff out of the tap?
Well, the core claim is that it is genuinely modified physical properties.
Modified how?
Proponents suggest that certain processes, things like vigorous vortexing, almost like stirring it in a specific way,
Okay.
or exposing it to specific magnetic fields, or even just the shape of the container it's in, that these can reorganize the water molecules.
Reorganize them from what? Chaos?
Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, instead of being random, the idea is the molecules form a more organized, symmetrical pattern, often described as hexagonal.
Hexagonal. Okay, I've heard that term.
And this supposedly puts the water into a higher, more coherent energy state. That's the fundamental idea.
Right. Let's trace this back, though, because it sounds very modern, very techy, but it isn't really a new idea, is it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
The sources show this curiosity about water goes way, way back, millennia.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Ancient civilizations, think Egyptians, Greeks, various indigenous cultures. They absolutely believed in the transformative tower of water.
Sacred springs and things like that.
Exactly. They venerated certain springs, believing they had unique properties. And even later, you see thinkers like Leonardo da Vinci, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe.
Really? Da Vinci.
Yep. Delving into water's flow, its structure, it suggests this fascination isn't just exactly the fourth phase. That's the term often used.
So EZ, what does that stand for? And why fourth phase? We have solid, liquid, gas.
EZ stands for exclusion zone. And this concept really pushed forward by researchers like Dr. Gerald Pollack.
I've seen his work mentioned.
Right. He proposes that water isn't just those three phases. There's this fourth state, an ordered, coherent structure, and crucially,
Yes.
it forms near hydrophilic surfaces.
Okay, hold on. Hydrophilic. Break that down for us.
Good point. Hydrophilic literally means water-loving.
Okay.
So these are surfaces, could be the inside of a pipe, could be proteins inside our own cell surfaces that water is naturally attracted to.
And what happens near these surfaces?
The water molecules right next to them supposedly arrange themselves into this dense, very ordered layer, the exclusion zone layer.
Exclusion, because it excludes things.
Precisely. It actually pushes out particles, hence the name EZ. It creates a zone of essentially pure structured water right next to the surface.
Wow. And what's the biological connection? Why does this matter for health?
Well, the theory is that this EZ layer is vital in biology. It acts almost like a battery.
A battery?
Because the EZ layer, sometimes chemically described as baro, though that's debated, holds a negative charge. This separates charge from the bulk water around it, creating a potential difference.
Like in a real battery?
Kinda,
Yeah.
yeah. And this charge separation could potentially help power processes within ourselves.
Yeah.
Think about how water moves up trees.
Right. Capillary action. And...
Yeah. Exactly. Proponents suggest something similar might be happening at the micro level in our bodies, powered by this EZ water. That's the theoretical basis for a lot of the health claims.
Okay, that is a fascinating concept, the exclusion zone. But now, the tricky part. How do you actually study this? It sounds incredibly subtle, ephemeral even.
It is extremely difficult, and that's why you need very specialized tools. You're looking at changes at the molecular level, so standard chemistry won't cut it.
So what do they use?
The sources mention things like NMR spectroscopy, nuclear magnetic resonance. That helps track how molecules are moving and clustering. And IR spectroscopy, infrared. That looks for specific vibration patterns or peaks that might be characteristic of these structured water clusters.
So these advanced methods are needed because the changes are just too small for regular tests to pick up.
That's the idea. They're also trying things like X-ray diffraction to figure out the actual spatial arrangement of the molecules.
What? I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah. The results from these methods can often be ambiguous, or the structures might only last for tiny fractions of a second. It makes getting consistent, reproducible proof really hard, which fuels the skepticism.
Right, and this is where things get even stranger because the theory starts pulling in ideas from quantum physics. Why quantum mechanics for water?
Because classical physics, standard Newtonian stuff, struggles to explain how these water structures could be stable or influence each other over distances.
So quantum concepts might offer an explanation.
That's the hope for proponents.
Yeah.
They're exploring ideas like wave-particle duality, how water might act like both, and quantum tunneling.
Tunneling, like particles passing through barriers.
Exactly. In this context, it's theorized to explain how protons might move more easily, more quickly, within structured water, allowing for faster energy transfer.
Okay, but the really big leap seems to be entanglement and quantum coherence. That sounds like we're going deep down the rabbit hole.
We are, and this is probably the most controversial part. The implication here
Yes.
is that water molecules in a coherent state might be linked, entangled, influencing each other instantly over distances in ways standard physics doesn't easily allow for.
Wow, so water isn't just passive stuff, it's connected.
That's the suggestion, that this coherence allows the water structure to hold a memory or an imprint. It suggests water acts less like a simple solvent and more like a highly sensitive liquid crystal, capable of storing and transferring information.
Okay, mind blown. So let's ground this a bit. How are people actually trying to make this potentialized water? The creation methods must reflect this mix of old and new ideas.
You really do. You see this neat contrast. On one hand, you have traditional methods, which are often quite passive.
Like?
Things like just exposing water to sunlight or moonlight, infusing it with crystals, or using specific metal containers like copper vessels in Ayurveda.
Copper. Why copper?
It's believed to naturally induce a mild structuring effect, maybe a gentle vortex. These are low-tech, ancient practices.
Okay, and the modern approaches?
Much more technology-driven. You have powerful vortex systems designed to mimic the chaotic flow of, say, a mountain stream, but intensely.
Forcing the structure.
That's the aim. Also, electromagnetic treatments to try and realign the molecules using fields. And then there's frequency imprinting.
Frequency imprinting. What's that?
That's trying to infuse the water with specific energy patterns, specific frequencies using resonance technologies, like tuning the water.
Tuning water. Okay, and I saw one more method listed, one that wasn't physical at all. It ties back to that quantum information idea.
Yes, and definitely the most esoteric method mentioned, the power of intention setting.
Intention, like thinking good thoughts at your water bottle. Essentially, yes. The suggestion is that focused consciousness, thoughts, affirmations, positive emotions can act as an energetic imprint, that your mind can influence the water's structure and coherence.
Okay, that is a huge leap, linking consciousness to water molecules.
It is. And when you put that idea next to the hard science, challenges the lack of solid proof, the reproducibility issues.
It brings us right to the critical point. What does mainstream science actually say about all this? Where's the balance?
And this is where we have to be really clear and impartial. While there is growing research interest, people are looking into it, but mainstream chemistry and physics experts remain, frankly, heavily cautious, skeptical even.
Especially about hexagonal water, or EOs, right?
Yes. That specific concept is often labeled pseudoscientific by the mainstream, and there are concrete reasons for that skepticism.
What are the main scientific objections?
Well, first, critics hammer the instability issue. They argue that even if these HO structures form, they might only exist for femtoseconds under very specific lab conditions, not stable enough to pour into a glass and drink.
Exactly. Not stable at room temperature in bulk water. Second, there's a big reproducibility problem. One lab might report finding ARCID properties, but then other independent labs struggle to get the same results consistently. That's a major red flag in science.
So a big validation gap, especially for humans.
A massive validation gap when it comes to robust, large-scale human clinical studies. That's undeniable.
However,
It's important we report what has been observed, even if it's preliminary. There have been some positive findings noted in the sources, specifically in animal models.
okay, like what? Give us an example.
Okay, for instance, some studies mention giving structurally altered water to lab animals. They observe things like a measurable reduction in certain markers of oxidative stress.
Which could imply, what, an anti-aging effect? Protection?
Potentially, yes. Other studies reported things like improved growth rates in some animals, better blood sugar and lipid profiles in others, even enhanced sperm quality in livestock given this water.
Interesting. But animals aren't people.
Precisely. Making the leap from those animal observations to proven health benefits in humans is the critical step that, scientifically speaking, hasn't been convincingly bridged yet.
Okay, so bearing that major caveat in mind, let's look at the claims. Advocates connect structured water to a huge range of benefits. What are they saying it does for the body?
The claims are really broad. They cover cellular function, general internal health, even performance.
Let's start at the cellular level.
Okay, the big one there is enhanced hydration and cellular absorption. The argument is the organized water structure is easier for cells to take in and use.
Making nutrients more bioavailable, maybe.
That's the idea, that it gets into the cells more efficiently.
Okay, and for, like, overall internal health?
Tied to digestive support, people claim less bloating, better regularity, and also facilitating the body's natural detoxification processes.
Helping the liver and kidneys clear stuff out.
Supposedly, yes,
Yeah.
aiding those organs. Beyond that, you see claims about boosting energy levels, improving athletic performance.
More energy.
Yeah. Supporting immune function, even promoting mental clarity and better cognitive function. It's quite the list.
It really is, which raises some serious questions if this technology ever becomes widespread and commercialized. The ethical side?
Absolutely crucial. The materials rightly point out the need for ethical diligence, particularly in two areas.
What's the first one?
Marketing transparency. It's a huge one. Manufacturers have a responsibility, an ethical one, to be honest.
Yeah.
To avoid hype, to avoid making claims that aren't backed up by solid, reproducible evidence.
Especially when people might be buying it for serious health reasons.
Exactly. No unsubstantiated promises. Claims need evidence.
And the second ethical concern?
Global equity. This is a big picture issue. Structured water devices or treatments can be expensive.
Right. Not cheap filters.
No. So the question arises, could the commercialization of this actually make water access less equal? Could it widen the gap between those who can afford premium water and those in, say, developing nations who are still struggling just to get basic, clean drinking water?
That's a really important point. Access and equity.
It's a critical consideration as the technology develops.
So given all this, the exciting possibilities, the scientific doubts, the ethical questions, what's the practical takeaway for you, the listener, right now, if someone is curious and wants to explore this?
The main advice from the source material, if you choose to try potentialized water, is rigorous self-monitoring. Personal observation.
Meaning?
Keep a detailed lifestyle journal. Really track things over time, your digestion, energy levels, sleep quality, skin, mood, overall vitality. Write it down.
Because the clinical data isn't there yet.
Exactly. Since the large-scale human studies are lacking, your own careful, empirical, personal data becomes your most reliable guide to whether it's making any difference for you.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's try to synthesize. Structured water. Where does this leave us?
Well, we've definitely explored a concept and you're right at a fascinating crossroads. You've got ancient traditions about sacred water,
Right.
meeting modern engineering, these vortex machines, magnetic fields, frequency devices.
And then layered on top, these really cutting-edge but still largely unproven physics concepts like quantum coherence and easy water.
Exactly. It's complex. The science is debated, the critiques are serious and valid, and there's no consensus yet. We're likely years away from that.
So what's next? Where might this field be heading?
Looking ahead, the focus seems to be shifting towards trying to get better validation, possibly through more personalized approaches.
Personalized structured water.
The sources hint at that, yeah. Maybe using things like AI-driven algorithms in the future to tailor the water structuring process based on an individual's specific health profile or needs.
Instead of a one-size-fits-all approach?
Potentially, yes. moving towards more targeted applications if the underlying effects can ever be robustly proven.
A very interesting potential future. But let's end with a final thought for right now, something for you to chew on. It comes back to that idea of intention we touched on earlier.
The mind-water connection.
Yes. The sources suggest, however esoterically, that mindful consumption, that positive intention, might actually influence water structure, maybe enhancing its coherence, imprinting it energetically.
Okay.
So here's the provocative question. If, and it's a big if, but if, water can carry information, and your body is, 60–70% water, what might be the implications, regardless of fancy machines or processes, of simply applying your own focused, conscious intent?
Thanks for joining us on the Justina James podcast. Remember, your health, your wellness, and your wisdom are the foundation of everything good. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. You can also find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Spotify to keep the inspiration going. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep living with purpose.